Pop in, say hi, give me one person for 1 second. I have got to run to the kitchen, you guys, and I don't want to start my life and not be here when you show up. Just one person so that they can let them know that I'm going to be right back. I'm sure it's going to be Owen, Kathy, Andrew. Maybe it might be Melvin, right? Who'll be in here first tonight, right? My people are pretty consistent. That's one thing that I can say. And it would be Owen, wouldn't it? Owen, can you let them know? I just have to run to the kitchen for one moment. I just got home, you guys, and I didn't want to be late tonight. So give me 1 second, okay? Just grabbing my coffee here. Oh, not just my coffee. Okay, we're on the roll. I got it. You guys, I came home, ran in the door to get ready for my live. You can see I still got my snow pants. I still have my snow pants on. My goodness. And I didn't know what I wanted for the live show, so I made one of my electric monkeys, and I made myself a cup of coffee, and I grabbed my gingerbread. Hi, Andrew. Okay, give me 1 second here. Going to undress, and we are going to start our evening. Oh, so nice to come off my legs. I've been on my legs all day, and I'm happy to come off them now and sit and relax. How has everybody's week been? Hello, Owen. Hello, Andrew. How is everybody's week? Anything exciting? Anything kind of messed up this week? Did everything just run as usual? Right? I always like to have a little bit of I have to have a little bit of different. That's just the way I am, right? Change is always coming to in my life practically on a daily basis, right? But I think, we move forward, right? And our growth and our keeping up with those who are moving fast, because I'm in thought leadership. Like, I am taking in lessons all day long from some amazing, super smart people talking about subjects that I never even knew existed in truth. Like, oh my goodness, they have scientists for that. And then they're so smart. And I sit there and I find the conversation so interesting. But it makes me wonder, if I were to meet these people, say in a coffee shop, would I be able to carry on a conversation? And the answer for me is, oh yeah, you betcha. You betcha. That's the thing, for a lot of people, they look at people who have more or who are further ahead, and they don't make those steps to, well, it's the courage, right? And sometimes it does take, especially if you've had trauma in your life, or you were super shy, introverted. It's really, really hard to make that kind of movement. It's a lot of lessons in that in the past couple of weeks. Oh, so many lessons the past couple of what I don't know if it's the season for this, if this is a regular thing that everybody, right? But what a season of lessons, I would say, for the past two months almost. It's just been just daily basis, and it's not that it's what am I going to say, difficult. And I'm not even thinking about difficult. It's almost like being a university student. That's what it feels like to me, and I find it pretty exciting to be there. But I'm thinking, like I was saying, a lot of people are shy and introverted, and they wouldn't think to speak to somebody outside their network or outside their perceived class. I've always stepped outside of myself, and because of that, I've had so many amazing relationships in my life. I find myself, I'm kind of situated as like I am I've always been an extroverted introvert. I've never hidden that, right? When I'm introverted, I am introverted. I am just on my own, but nobody truly can be introverted unless you lock yourself up in your home, and there are people who suffer that way, that have a difficult time leaving their own home, right? But we have to find ways to connect with people. We need to find ways to be able to find people like us. And I always found myself that that sometimes you if you just make a step and you just, right, right. I don't look at class. I do feel sometimes that I'm not worthy of others, or that others, like I said, I'm sitting in and listening to these conversations with really smart scientists and numbers and biologists and engineers, right? Sitting in on university classes on really interesting subjects. I take lessons almost on a daily basis from psychologists, and but specifically in the fields that I'm looking to help, right? Those those and I don't like to say the word victims, right? It's right. We are all victims in some way, right? But people kind of sometimes take advantage of the sensitives, right? Or they create the sensitives. And that's the thing, right? We have to step out of ourselves to sometimes realize how extroverted we truly are. And I truly recognize my extrovertedness. I do, in my interactions in my day to day with my customers, when I go off and have small adventures, when I donate my time to Heritage Winnipeg, that these are very social things. And I'm not pushing myself to do it, right? I love to do it. I love to mingle. But it is sometimes that unexpected, and right, it's like the I don't say bad customer because it's not a bad customer. It's a frazzled customer, because sometimes the customers go off, and it does happen. And I try to be as understanding in the moment as anybody, but these are things that can trigger me, right? That could throw me back to my childhood, and my hackles can come up, and it's like how fast can I get them down, and right, put myself in their shoes right away, or just say, right, why even put the energy into that? But at the same time, unless I try, right, it's a lost moment, right? So when we make when we cross the sidewalk, it's like when we were little kids, we walk down the sidewalks and we say good morning, good day, good evening to anybody that we crossed while we were walking down the sidewalks. It was calm and courtesy. And can you imagine how many stops, right? And sometimes I was actually talking about this on my live show today. About, was it today? Maybe it was yesterday. I was talking about, sometimes people talk about the weather, right? And some people just get really bored of people talking about the weather. Don't they have anything interesting to say, right? Don't they have anything better to contribute? But that's the thing, right? When you're an introvert, it's even really difficult to figure out How do you start a conversation, right? When you'd like to start a conversation, you'd like to get to know somebody, you'd like to see if that's a potential friend or partner, or, and you don't know where, right? So those people all the time, right? When people talk about the weather, those are my greatest opportunities. They truly, that's how I look at people who come in and right off the hop, they talk about the weather because, right, that was it's like there's no question. There's, right, you don't question it. You know it's somebody trying to make some small conversation, right? And those are my greatest opportunities. I can do magic in those moments because I know that in that moment I didn't reach out first, right? And that's the things with empaths and highly sensitives, aren't we? We are very sensitive and we will always reach out first. But to have that feeling come at you before anything else. I got a lady who lives in this building that I live in. She's a mingler, she's a chatter, she's all over the place. She's a sweet lady. But every time I bump into her, whether it's on the in the elevator or the laundry room or in the rec room or in the lobby, she's always, "Oh, hello, Cindy," and "Hello," and right, she's just greeting me all the time. So now it's become a bit of a, not a competition, but I kind of find it joyful because I know she could be lurking around any corner to see that if I recognize her right off the hop before she recognizes me, that I could be the first person to say, "Hi," right? And the funny thing is, I meet her all the time, all the time, all the time, a couple of times, 3 times a week. She knows my name, but I don't know hers. So, in having this conversation and challenging myself, because I think I've gone a little bit further than how's the weather, but that's the thing. That's the start of the conversation. And a lot of people who are introverts, they have a problem in having those kind of right startups in the conversations. But everybody talks about the weather, especially here in Manitoba, where tonight it is. Oh, I got my phone. No, where's, oh, here, I got my other phone. You guys, I got my new Pixel 8. You guys, I got my new Pixel 8. I'm so excited. This Pixel, you guys, the sound is like my Bose speakers. I don't know what they did with this phone, but I actually have to keep the phone volume down almost halfway down if I'm on the bus or something. But how great it is it when things get really loud, especially when I'm sitting here and I live on a fairly busy street, right? And I'm going to come and say hi. I see the conversations and the chatters going already, you guys. I see it. But yeah, my new phone. You guys, I did tell you I lost my phone, right? I'm trying to think. Yes, you guys knew I lost my phone, but I got a new one. And I put the, because I can't afford to lose this. It's a $2,000 phone almost, right? I couldn't afford to have it break, like drop it, especially I'm a slightly clumsy person, right? Not overly, slightly. But I had to have that shatter glass. What do you call that glass that you put on the phones? I can't remember what it is. But I got some of that glass put on the top and then I put it in a clear case. The phone is actually a baby blue, the blue that I want for my kitchen. I'm having a hard time finding kitchen items in this color. And anybody ever's come across a kitchen item? Ladles, spoons, plates. Well, my dinner plates, I have them in this color, but they're Corels, my everyday. The only other plates I buy are my fancy dinner plates. A nice one comes into the store, I usually buy them. Okay, you guys, let's come into the conversation. I hope I didn't leave in mid-sentence, but let's come in here and see who's popped in. Oh, Owen's here. I can see, and Melvin. Okay, here we go. Owen, are you getting the extra cold weather at your location? I haven't been outdoors in over 24 hours. Wow. Okay, Andrew, I know that you probably talked about the weather a little bit further down, but tell me what the temperature is, and if you could like convert it to metrics even, that would be fantastic. Cuz Cindy works better in metric when it comes to the temperature. But this morning it was 24 minus 24 degrees Celsius, which I googled, and I used my Google Assistant, and it came up and it said that minus 24 Celsius was minus 17 Fahrenheit. We're a lot colder than you, Andrew. Yeah, we were minus 17 Fahrenheit here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Right now, it is it's gone down another 2 degrees. So it's now minus 26 Celsius here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm not sure how cold it's going to be, because when I'm looking in on satellite and I'm looking at the Weather Channel, we are on a kind of a, oh, it's a wind draft that naturally comes over Canada, right? Every single winter, and it gets usually pretty cold here in Winnipeg, and especially in the southern part of Manitoba. It gets really cold. But during this really cold spell that we're having, we're almost situated in a patch of clear. So it's hard to say how cold it's going to be. I heard it got to minus 41 Celsius in Saskatoon today. Hey Google. Hey Google. Can you tell me what minus 41 Celsius is in Fahrenheit, please?
Here's what I found on the web.
Well, you're not going to tell me? Oh, here we go. Now it wants me to do work. It wants me to show you all you guys how smart it is. But if it was super smart, it would have just given me the answer. Okay. Oh, it's the same. It's minus 40 Fahrenheit. I guess when it gets to a certain temperature, it's almost the same. So, oh, I said minus 28, didn't I? Sorry. It's minus 22. It's minus 22 Fahrenheit in Winnipeg, Manitoba. But that's what it was, and I was asking about. Oh, yes, it was minus. So it was minus 40 Fahrenheit in Saskatoon this morning. So Saskatoon's getting hit pretty good. And they're part of the prairies, right? And the prairies, when it comes to winter, because there is no protection, right? Here in Winnipeg, we planted trees over 100 years ago, maybe 120 years ago. We lined all our residential streets with trees, and when they die or go bad, they're replaced. So they're pretty good wind barriers, and especially there's lots of high rises, and even though you get the tunnel and stuff, it's not super cold because you get a little bit of a wind break, right? But in the once you're out of the city, it's there's nothing, and you are at the mercy of the wind. And here in Manitoba, I don't know if they do it. They may do it in Bloomington. Let me know, Andrew, that they always give us a wind chill when they give us the temperature. They'll say minus 40 with a minus 52 wind chill. That was saying, so it's extra cold because the wind has cooled the air, so it feels like it's minus 52. But yeah, it gets super cold here. I hope everybody is staying warm. The reason I just came in, took my clothes off, and I don't know what I want to drink first. Let's have a sip of my coffee, you guys. Right? This is dinner. I got gingerbread. Oh, this gingerbread. So in the grocery store I shop at, they have, cultural section. So if you were to immigrate here to Canada, you would be able to find whatever nationality you are. You can find food goods in that, right? So they have an entire aisle that's just right cultural. And but because here in Manitoba, we have a lot of uh, Polish, we have a lot of Russian, and we have a lot of Ukrainian. So they tend to have a little bit extra in their sections. And one of the things that I really like, and the Polish make the most amazing gingerbread. Like, this gingerbread is my favorite. It's only $2 a box. Right here, let me show you. It's made in Poland, and it costs $2.29 for this package of one, two, three, four, eight pieces of gingerbread. And whenever I go to this store, I love to go into the section and grab myself one of these. It's so good, you guys. They're like hearts, and they got like an icing on the front, and on the back it's chocolate. They're coated in chocolate. And not only that, look at, it's soft. It's a soft cookie. Mm, very good. Mm. I don't mean to be eating during my live show. And I got an electric monkey, which is I'm so happy. It's the end of the week, you guys. Oh my goodness. It's really tough. I feel I'm pooping out sometimes, No, manager's been away for quite a few months now, and everybody's doing amazing. The store looks great, right? The problems, I think, are minimal. But right, it's a lot of paying attention, and it's a lot of extra work. I'm not right. None of us are really right regular employees. We're all pulling up our pants and doing a little bit extra. So when my days off come, right, I am grateful, right, that they leave me. They let me have my days off because they know I'm poopy. I'm pretty sure, right, that they know that I'm starting to poop out. Busy, we're doing great, good money. It is fun, right? But I gotta remember, I'm not 20 years old, but I feel right here I feel, but right? I don't always feel like I'm 20 years old, but maybe in comparison to others, maybe I do, right? Maybe I do because, right, I don't suffer aches and pains. But I was going to tell you something that on my live show that I was talking about on my live show, you guys, and I already forgot. And it was related to something. Maybe if I come back into the comments, see if I left off in the right spot. Yeah, but the cold weather, I'd love to know. Oh, and yeah, what's it like? I'm not even paying attention. I haven't been into the news all week. I have no idea what's going on in the world. But I'm assuming everything is okay, right? Everything is where it needs to be, where it comes to where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Yeah. I can't allow myself to feel that, right? Because I think it's a big problem for lots of people that because we're so close in this digital age now that sometimes we become hyper focused on the media, right? And on TV and in the news, and right, becomes a lot tougher to relax, right? Because, well, again, we are sensitives. We're empaths. Of course, we're going to worry about what's going on in the world, and that's exactly why some things are kept out of my attention. Right, and I'm not going to beat myself up about that, but yeah, I hope somebody gives me the heads up if I'm supposed to. But I'm sure it would. Okay. 1 degree Fahrenheit in Bloomington. Oh, 1 degree Fahrenheit. I don't know what that would be in Celsius, Andrew. I apologize for that, but I know it was like minus 17 here compared to Bloomington this morning. That it was because I Googled it. I Googled what the difference was, what it was in Fahrenheit compared to Celsius. Hello, Kathy, dear. Oh, I love the hearts. I love the hearts. Thank you. Cold is not the word. Like I said, I came into my live tonight and I took my snow pants off in the middle of my live because I just walked in the door, made my drinks, grabbed my cookies, sat down and went, oh my goodness, right? And my coffee wasn't ready, so as soon as Owen got in, I said, okay, Owen, if anybody comes in, let them know I'm fixing my coffee, and I ran off to fix my coffee. Okay, I'm going to taste to see how strong this is. I made it real fast. I didn't even measure the alcohol, you guys. So I hope it's not too strong. I don't like the paper straws. They go so soggy, you guys. I really, really hate the plastic straws. So I got this hospital straw at work for a quarter. So I've been using that. But I also bought a box of plastic. They came in yesterday, a box of plastic straws, so I grabbed them. I'm sorry, I'm not a recycler yet. Maybe I'll wake up one morning and say, I just can't use this, but somebody's going to use them. It might as well be me, and I'll properly recycle them. Okay, let's taste my drink. Wow. Wow. I did a good job. On Christmas Eve, my last drink, I made it so strong that the cream curdled on top in the middle of my live show. I only got halfway through it and I went, ugh, right? It was all clumpy and, oh, this is so good. It's tequila, Kahlua, banana liqueur, chocolate milk, and Pepsi. Diet Pepsi. Like it makes a difference. But oh, am I enjoying this so much? But I wasn't too sure whether I would because of the drink I had on Christmas Eve went all curdly on me, right? But this one is just perfect. And I didn't know, so I made a cup of coffee. A nice big one. I make really good coffee. I got a Keurig machine at work and I've been using the coffee pods, but they were so expensive that I had to, because right, I think the end of right, I'm trying to have a little pantry going on just in case it comes to something terrible and I can have something to barter with because everybody's so hooked on coffee. I'll open up my own little coffee shop or something and I'll survive that rice or survive. I was just gonna say survive just fine, right? You give me a cup of rice and I'll make you a cup of coffee and I'll just survive that way through bartering, right? That's probably what I would do if it came down to it in survival. Is I would barter. I am also watching the giant Gila monster and Cindy. Is that a YouTuber, Melvin? I sometimes have extra windows opening up. Sometimes, like, I'll go in and I'll make my selection of lessons, and then I kind of put videos like the meditation. Well, maybe it depends on how long they are. Some of the videos I watch are like 3 hours long, and that's a truth. Sometimes I have to break them up into different days, and Google and YouTube are really good, so that if I only finish half of it, they'll resuggest it to me, because I only go through my suggested videos. Well, I get to choose what I want, but it's through the selections that are suggested to me by YouTube. And then every once in a while, YouTube will ask me, oh, are you interested in, right? Changing what you're watching a little bit, introducing some new content. And the answer is always yes, right? And then I'm looking for my favorites for a couple of days, and then I settle into some new interesting content and new interesting, right? So many of the people that I follow have been suggested to me through YouTube. It wasn't people that I searched out, right? I'm trying to think if any, right? I would think if I picked them myself, it would only be like my metal detecting videos or my rock hound. I've been watching rock hounders too. Yeah, because I'm gonna do some rock hounding, you guys. Like, I usually do rock hounding, but I just do it for myself. But I want to go. I'm thinking the plan is going to be Utah and Arizona car trip. That one will probably be a 10-day. It'll have to be a 10-day trip. It's not a trip that I want to rush, because it's going to take me 3 days to get there, right? And 3 days to get home. And then there's traveling, and right, and there's so many places, like, it's not like Canada. I go to the States. If I'm going to go to the States and I look at Arizona, I said, well, if I'm going to do Arizona, I might as well do California, and I might as well do Nevada, and I might as well do New Mexico, because they're all right beside each other, and you could drive through them in a day, right? It's not like the provinces here in Canada, right? Took me 3 days. It took me, well, I did it in 2 days, right? But I really should have done it in 3 days, because my first day a workshop, I was just a bubble brain. I was so tired, but I was so excited to be there. I was just high. I was just high on adrenaline. I'm going to do another one of those trips this spring. I have to take a little bit of, I was thinking I would take a week for myself to take a, right, when my manager gets back to work, I'll tell her if I can have, a few extra days, and I'm going to do something. I don't know what, if maybe I'll take a plane somewheres and go to a workshop or go to a convention, right? Maybe I'll go see somebody who I admire, right? That I take my lessons from, if they're right coming to Canada. Lots of people that I follow, though. I follow people from all over the world, all different nationalities, all different ages, like all different ages. I find them so interesting. And there's something else that's really, really different. All different ages, all different all different nationalities. Oh well, I forgot what I was going to say. Losing my train of thought there, you guys. But yeah, super cold here, Kathy. Super cold. I don't know. I'll take a look at the Weather Channel. Why don't I do that right now? with my new Pixel 8. Oh my goodness. And let's see what the weather says for the next week here. Oh, you guys. We're going to start warming up over the weekend. It's not going to be bad. Today is the worst day of the week. Like I said, we're going to miss. We're going to miss because the way that it starts up like in Nunavik, up in Hudson Bay area, and it swoops around the prairies, right? But it can't get over the mountain, so it just swoops around the prairies, and then it comes back around, and it usually scoops us up in its path, right? And then travels into Ontario a little bit. And winter, it makes winter really, really cold. And we were wondering where it was, right? We had a very, very mild beginning of winter. We really did. Oh, I think I want this one. It's my day off. If I did that drink so well, maybe I'll have a few of those tonight. Maybe I'll have a few of those. That's really, really good. Can taste the alcohol in it, but really good. Yeah, you guys, it's not going to be that cold this week. And we're going to be in some warm weather. Well, for us here in Manitoba, it's really unnatural for us to be under -10 in the winter, right? Like right now, we should be in the 30s consistently, -30s, and we haven't been. And we got uh, a little week of cold weather. And I tell you, I went to work today, and every customer, and this was the proof of it. This was the evidence of it. Every single one of my customers came in today and went, "Ooh, it's a cold one today, isn't it, Cindy?" Or, "Have you been out much this morning?" And right? And again, it's just leading into that conversation, right? And they walk in the door, "Oh, it's nice and warm in here," right? And we don't do it because, and I said to people when we got into the conversation, I says, we're just Manitobans, right? It's not like we're grumbling. It's right because it's -20. Man, we know what -50 feels like. -20 is like laying on the beach drinking pina coladas, isn't it? Here in Manitoba, that's what we consider it, right? So that's nothing for us. But because it's the beginning, like this week is the beginning of our winter, like we're just stepping into it. It's just been crazy. People have been outside with just t-shirts on right up into November, right up into December. Even I saw people with shorts on. Well, right? I have. But it's not the norm that when there's snow on the ground, people are wearing shorts. But if it's a nice day, right, those young kids, they like to think they're tough and they'll walk around in their t-shirts and shorts just to say, "Hey, look how cool I am," right? I could be outside when there's snow on the ground, dressed like this, right? Yeah, so it's not really cold. But we do it because that's our social. This is how we connect with each other, right? This is how we start conversations. This is how we get to know people. This is how we become part of the community quite often. It is in the small talk because lots of people can't handle anything more than small talk, right? Depending on the situation that I'm in, right? If I was 10 years old, summer holidays, stuck in the house. Anyway, you guys. Yeah, so it's not bad. I'm gonna have another bite of this cookie. Okay, so here we going down here. Um she's black and white. What's black and white? Mm. Well, that's a great suggestion, Andrew. I would have to say. Oh, wait, was that Andrew who said that? Um. Oh, I'm pulling up here. I went too far back. It was negative 40 this morning in Alberta. Minus 40. Really? Oh my goodness. And you watch Melvin talk about Chinooks. I don't know if you guys know what a Chinook is, but it brings in this warm air. I used to live, I know Melvin knows I used to live in British Columbia, but one of the places that I did live in was a place called Dawson Creek. And we used to get Chinooks all the time. And it brings in the nice warm air from like Hawaii and stuff, like from the tropics. It brings it all up, and it could be a cold day and it would be so beautiful. That's why you always see people in those up in the mountains and they're wearing their bikinis and they're skiing and stuff. Oh my goodness. Minus 40. Yeah, we're not even going to get that close, Melvin. Not even. Mm. Okay. I'm putting my gingerbread away because it's rude and I don't like to talk when my mouth is going. Mm. It- And also at the same time, when I see that, because this is like a mirror for me because I'm on my laptop, right? So it kind of triggers me a little bit because the first thing I think is my mom with the back scratcher was her weapon of choice, my mother's back scratcher. But she'd always say, "Don't talk with your mouth full," right? Right? So when I see myself in the mirror and in that mirror image of talking and eating at the same time, right? That that reminder, that trigger, right, comes up. Okay, Andrew, going back, Cindy, I've had the opposite of your encountering people who have met me before and have completely forgotten me. Oh, you know what, Andrew? I'm going to honestly say, I'm that person that you're talking about right there. I have a really, really, like, I have a good memory for faces. Like, I'll remember you, but if you tell me your name, you're going to have to tell me your name a couple of times before I've got it, right? Unless you were the president of the United States, right? If you were one of my favorite movie stars, right? It would take me, well, then I would know your name, wouldn't I? It takes me a while. It takes me a while to catch names, and so I'm going to apologize for everybody. But that is part of my hypervigilance, that I don't pay attention that way because when I'm talking to people, I'm always like, who's watching, or right? I'm going to get in trouble because I'm supposed to be right. This is the way I think sometimes, right? So, in the lessons, these are things that I'm over or trying to overcome, right? Trying to overcome. But sometimes that is me, right? That and it's embarrassing. I do admit for myself and I take full responsibility with that, but I have to say, in honest truth, Andrew, it's unintentional. It truly is unintentional that I do that. And I do now, right? I try really hard, like I make their when I meet people, I try and put their names to something that rhymes in an attempt to be able to better recognize when they pop in and stuff, right? Now, at this pace, it's a good pace, right? And we have gotten to know each other over the years, not just, it's not like, we have new people who come in, but we have those regulars who we hear all the time, and we have gotten somehow to the point where we're actually friends, right? Over years. And for some of you, I don't even know what you look like, but I can tell you how you live, and I can feel you, and I know that if I ever had, right, I needed someone to talk to, that this crew here, right, that I could message any one of them and they would spend time with me, right? And in the end, what more could you ask for than that? Just to have people that you can call, right? Friends, right? In a digital age to boot, in a digital age to boot. There's a lot of fake out there, but right? There isn't any here. There's no reason for it to be here. There's no reason for it to be here. And if it ever showed up, right? They would feel it out because they're feelers like me, right? They're feelers like me, and I would hope they would read behind the eye, behind the words sometimes, right? Right? But like I said, it is true. People come in and into the store, right? And they talk about the weather right off the hop, right? It's just a signal that they, right? Just a small greeting sometimes. But you're right, Andrew. Sometimes people do want to be left alone, right? When I'm sitting on the bus and going to work, I love to look out the window, right? I love to be in contemplation, right? I love to think about what I want to do as projects to, right? Have a successful day, right? And I got my next door neighbor who sits down next to me and goes, Cindy, are you up to work? And the next thing you know, right? I'm in a conversation. But as much as each one of us can say, right, probably don't like it. And I'm not always comfortable. I'd like to be invisible sometimes, especially, growing up my whole life without that opportunity to be invisible. And that would just been heaven for me. But right, there was no chance at 311 pounds that I could make myself invisible. Even at 200 pounds at 12 years old, there was no possible way that I could make myself invisible, especially in the 70s. I was probably the only big kid. I don't remember any other. I do remember in high school, right? One gentleman, and I made friends with him too because he was big and he was somebody I could relate to, and I recognize, right, not to judge people by their skin, right? And I only learned that it was a lesson in my own experience because I knew who I was, right? I knew I was a nice person. I knew I was lots of fun, right? I knew it was going to be a good time. But other people have other ideas. And like I said, I can only be control what I can control. I can't control how other people think, and right? So it is what it is, isn't it? Okay, coming down in the comments, you guys. But yeah, Andrew saying, going back, Cindy, I've had the opposite of your encountering people who have met me before and have completely forgotten me. Yeah. And oh, okay, maybe I misunderstood that. Oh, I would never forget you. I might not remember your name, but I would remember you, right? Like I said, I remember faces. I don't remember names. I don't remember dates very well. Mm. Mm. And And that is hard for me because I love history so much. It's why I admire Andrew so much when he spews out that information for me and he names off the artist or names off the author, tells about the biographies, or he names off actors, and he knows what movies they played, he even knows what year the movies were played. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's so fantastical that he can do that. But that was his effort. He put that work in, right? And maybe, I don't know, do you have a little bit of photographic memory, Andrew? That would be, right? Good to know. Maybe you have a little bit of photographic memory. But I admire that so much. And the thing is, I don't do that, right? And so I can beat myself up and say, oh, I'm not as smart as Andrew, right? Oh, right. I couldn't even attempt to do that. Well, maybe if I put some effort and some work, but it's not my forte, right? It's not my interest. It's Andrew's interest, right? I'm not an analytical mind, though I love analytical minds. I love the smart people. They're the ones who are going to move the world in a good direction, right? Me, I work in the emotional, and that emotional is just not what I work in, but I work in it for myself, right? And I couldn't imagine that. I don't know. Maybe that's something I should look at, because maybe that's something that does stump me a little bit, that I'm not moving more towards, right, being the expert in what I know, right? I love that I have Andrew here. He saves the day almost every live show. He'll come in and he saves the day with something smart. I even have that author's name, and I was going to Google her to read about what kind of books that she wrote. I can't remember. Anne something. I can't remember. Yeah. Oh, I'm just picking these, was putting these away. These were some amethyst wands that my brother-in-law got me for Christmas. Wasn't that nice of him? Yeah, absolutely amazing. And then of course, my desk crystal, which is my amethyst, my dragon amethyst. See the dragon? And you can see on the back, there's his tail, goes right around the rock. He's like circling the entire rock. Yeah. Millions and billions of years old, you guys. Millions and billions of years old. And I'm going to hand polish it every day. I hand polish it, and it may take me 10 years. It might not even be in my lifetime, right? I may have to pass this down to one of my nieces, right? But eventually one day this will be polished. Yeah, it's my favorite out of all of them. This one, I dug this one. I dug that one. Yeah, so I was just moving them. I was just moving them right here. So I'll just put that right there. Yeah, well, I thought I was doing good this morning, but when I came home and I guess when I was rushing to get ready for my live show, and I think, well, what do I want? I haven't even eaten dinner yet. I'm gonna have such serious heartburn if I don't have something to eat. And I looked and I said, I gotta prepare something to eat. And I says, my cookies, right? My gingerbread. So I grabbed my gingerbread and I says, well, what am I going to drink? And I opened up the fridge to see what I had, right? I could have made some juice or whatever. And I said, oh, I'll make one of my cocktails. And then I said, oh, right. And I'm making my cocktail and then thinking, well, what if I make that cocktail and I can't finish drinking it like I did on Christmas Eve? I better make a cup of coffee. So I made a cup of coffee too. So I've got a little bit of everything going on tonight. I used to be a bartender This is my drink. I didn't name it, but I used to order it all the time. I used to be a VLT addict, a video lottery terminal addict. I spent so much, but five digits for sure on lottery terminals every year. And one of the places I used to play at, the waitresses, right? They got to make their money, and I would order these drinks because my alcohol has to taste like chocolate milk, or it has to taste like Hawaiian punch. It can have the alcohol in there, but I don't want to taste the alcohol. That's why I'm enjoying this so much. There's so much alcohol in here. There's at least 3 ounces of alcohol. There's tequila, Kahlua, and banana liqueur, but you don't taste the alcohol because of the chocolate milk and the Pepsi that's in it, right? But such an amazing drink. I'm glad I made that. But I know, right? I'm going to have a couple of these tonight. I'm just going to enjoy my evening, and I'm enjoying the company. I'm so glad it's my days off, right? Hope nobody's sick. I hope everybody shows up for work. I hope there's no problems. Yeah, so hopefully, Melvin, you actually do get a Chinook, right? Hopefully you do get a Chinook right after this cold spell. That would be nice, right? We were really lucky here in Manitoba because the week before the cold snap, it was so warm. I couldn't even walk on the roads. I couldn't walk on the snow. I couldn't walk on the sidewalks. It was just a sheet of ice. What I needed was ice skates, is what I need. That's what everybody needed because it was just warm, cold, warm, and cold. It just takes a couple of degrees before things freeze. And then those couple of degrees warm up and then it thaws again. So it was doing that every day. And then it stopped. It got cold a little bit, not super cold, but a little bit cold. And here it's still sunny during the day. So it was able to evaporate a little bit off the sidewalks. But it would have been very, very dangerous if this cold snap and that snow came and that ice was all underneath it, because you wouldn't even see it. You wouldn't even see the ice, right? And there would be so many accidents. There would be car accidents, and people would be wiping out right and left. So I'm glad there was a couple of days that some of that moisture was able to evaporate, right? So that it made that when it snowed and then it got cold, right? It didn't make it so it was hairy scary. I wasn't worried about it. I wear Keens. It's a boot brand. I'm so excited, right? My sister messaged me. She goes, "Cindy, it's so cold up there. Are you gonna wear your new boots?" No. I'm gonna try and make these old boots. Well, my exact word is I'm gonna shred these boots this spring, right? I'm gonna walk through every mud puddle. I'm just gonna go hiking. I'm just gonna shred these boots in the next few months. They lasted me 4 years. And after 4 years, they're still going good. They're just not right. They're not pretty anymore. They're right. They're all beaten up, and I like to wear cute outfits to work and stuff. Well, cute outfits. I only wore sweats and a hoodie today, right? But all color coordinated, right? My gray earrings, my little daisy earrings, my gray hoodie, my gray sweats, my gray winter socks, my big boots, my my gray ponytail scrunchy thing, right? Gray. Oh, just was gray today, and it was a nice day. It wasn't even a gray. It wasn't a gray day. It was a nice day. And on top of that, right, somebody was sick at work, so we worked again a little bit short staffed, and we were absolutely fine when we left that store. Right, right. just only because right, at the very least, I would like to see, because the people I work with work really hard, and I know that recognition sometimes, right? It's not that it's not there, it's not appreciated, it's sometimes just not voiced. So I always try and make sure that they know what a great job they did, right? That they pulled through, that they even showed up. Right? But it's the weekend. Somebody's always calling sick in the weekends, which I find odd, but I can't judge that, right? Because my work ethics don't allow me to just call in sick or say, "Oh, I need a day off," right? It doesn't allow me to do that because, right, I show up every single day. I have never called in sick my entire life. I've worked almost full time my entire life. I have missed days, right? But I've always booked off. I'm going on vacation, or I need to go get this procedure done, or I have this doctor appointment, right? I have I donate my time to Heritage Winnipeg, so I need that time off too. And I'd like to do more, but then I would become an irritant, I think, right? So you want to keep yourself indispensable if you can, and exactly what I'm doing right now. So I don't grumble and complain about it, right? But going back to what I was saying about the working in the store and how everybody just comes in and we start talking about the weather and stuff. And I says, we're Manitobans. We just grumble, and for us, it's just a starter for conversation, right? So I have no problems. I have no problems coming in and having people, and it's my job, right? It is. I do it for my job, and I'm grateful that. Right, I didn't even think of saying that until this moment, because I enjoy my job. I enjoy having those conversations. I love my regulars. I learn lots of things. I have interesting conversations, and they care about me, right? Come in and buy me a coffee. Of course, they're looking for a discount, I'm sure, right? An extra percentage. But some don't. Some just pop in and, right, do these small kindnesses, or we have these really friendly conversations where I can learn things. And, even today, right? One of my resellers came in today, and, he gives me lots of good tips about reselling. And it's not like he intentionally gives them to me as tips, because I'm not a big real reseller myself. But the thing is, he loves to talk about what he's doing and show. So, when he does something really amazing or he scores really good, he likes to let me know, and I love to hear about it because I learn every time. Right? Even today, he was telling me about a painting that he picked up. He picked it up last week. We had a sale, and all our pictures and frames went for 50%. So we bought this painting. I knew it was a nice painting, so I put $30 on this beautiful painting, which was of Winnipeg Beach. As yes, we have beaches in it, not in Winnipeg, but we have beaches in Manitoba. If you look at the map, you can see that the biggest lakes in all of North America, right? Two of them are here right in Manitoba. So if you want to see where I live, all you have to do is go to the maps and you can see where I live. But yeah, Lake Winnipeg. So there was a painting that he had from Lake Winnipeg, and it was $30, put a $30 price tag, but they put on a sale for 50% off, and he got this painting for $15, right? And we looked at the label, and it said where it was framed, and it was a nice painting. It was lovely framed. And then he looked up the artist, and it turned out that the artist had passed away in the 40s and or early 50s. He passed away. So this painting that he had was like in the 40s. And then he looked, and he saw that there was another label, and it turned out the painting had been cleaned and reframed by this company, right? So he actually, because this company actually does free appraisals, because it had been reframed with the company last night, he messaged them and told him he has one of the paintings and he wants to find out. He thinks it's worth, right, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands. So he's going to get back to me and he's going to let me know. He's going to let me know how well he did with his $15 picture. $15 he paid for it. And not only that, last weekend, I don't know if I told you guys, there were 2 end tables. I came into work and they were beautiful cream color end tables. I really wanted them. They were just beautiful. And they were from like the 50s, right? Just like those old octagonal ones, right? With the door, you know which kind, from the 70s. They were really popular, but these ones were cream color and very high enamel. So I really like them because I'm going with that cream color, high enamel kind of look in my living room, at least for the furniture. And I really wanted them. But then I looked at the price tag and I saw they priced them at $25 a piece. And I'm a cheapo. I didn't want to pay $20, $25 a piece, especially when I live in a small apartment. They would just be in here as storage until I'm able to move anyway. So I went to the back to take my coat off, thinking that I had time to think about it by the time I got to the front, that I could decide whether or not I want them, because I have to put them in the back room if I want them, right? And I would have had to pay full price for them because they went on the floor that day. So so I got back up to the front. By the time I got up to the front, one of my resellers, a reseller is somebody who buys secondhand things and then sells them for a profit. 1 in 3 of my customers is a reseller. It's the age that we live in, right? And I don't have a problem with the resellers. I actually have some relationships going on with some of the resellers. They're lovely people, and right. Besides, I'm an entrepreneur and I appreciate the entrepreneurs. They're putting a roof over their head. My sister Alice herself puts a roof over her head by being a reseller, right? But what was that? Oh, I just got a cold warning on my computer. Just came up. It said there's a cold warning in effect. So we'll see how cold it gets. It's still only minus 26, you guys. It hasn't gotten any colder in this moment, but it's saying that it's so minus 26 is minus 40 Celsius. Is that what he said? No, when it gets to minus 40, it's minus 40 Celsius also in Fahrenheit. Wow, minus 40. Here on the East Coast, it rained for the last couple of days, plus 8 Celsius. I heard all about it today from one of my regular customer's daughter. She just got engaged, and she came into the store, and I asked her how her trip was and everything, and she said it was absolutely lovely, but she says it was just raining the whole time I was there. Yeah. Wow. But she said it was rough. She said it was rough. But she said, yeah, the weather was rough, but it wasn't super cold like the middle of Canada is. Oh, no clouds tonight. Yeah, it was pretty sunny here in Manitoba today too, so I'm going to assume, would it tell me on my phone here? Yeah, I love my new Pixel. I love it. It doubled my phone bill every month. But, working in social media, it's right. I want the best camera on my phone, and right, I am a Google girl. So whatever Google's doing, I want to be a part of if it's possible. Okay, so let's look at the weather again. Yeah, extreme cold warning, southern Manitoba. So overnight, oh, it's minus 25, so it's gone down another. No, it's gone down. It was minus 26, you guys. It's only minus 25, and it's going to be minus 24 by 3 o'clock in the morning, minus 23 by 3 o'clock in the morning. The warmth, it's not bad here in Manitoba. Not at all, you guys. And we only have 3 days of snow, 3 days of cloud and snow. It was clear today, but the clouds are coming in, and it's going to be snow for 3 days. And then after that, the sun's back out. And then come the weekend. Now they're saying Sunday, not Monday. So come Sunday, it will be back to single digits. That's nothing, you guys. That's absolutely nothing. Okay. But +8. And you guys, Nova Scotia is so beautiful. It's been a long time since I've been to Nova Scotia. 1997, in fact, right? Yeah. Oh no, before that, when I got married, right? Because we went out there when me and my husband got engaged. So that was in 1990. I guess we went out in 1991 or 1992. Well, we weren't engaged for that long. We were only engaged, well, we were, I guess, right? We were. He had to do a tour from the time we got engaged to the time we actually got married. He actually had a tour in Croatia. So, yeah, he was away for at least 6 months. Okay. Oh, so you do get the wind chill. That's good to know. Yeah, I didn't know if they watched the wind chill in the States. Oh, Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. Think your name is Greg. Oh, people ask me my name all the time. I don't mind, but I think partly it's because, I understand myself because my memory is not so good with names too. So I don't think anything of it. Hi, Nancy. Spending an evening with someone and not being remembered afterwards. Oh, I don't know how that could be possible, right? Oh my goodness. But Andrew is definitely not a fibber in that case. But yeah, oh my goodness. That is pretty bad, Andrew. Not be remembered after spending an entire evening with somebody. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm saying, if I just got introduced to somebody, the next time they got introduced to me, I definitely would not remember. But if I spent the evening having a chit chat with you, Andrew, for sure. They don't remember spending the evening with you either, or they just don't remember you. Oh, that's something. What was my question again? Yeah, Andrew, you got me on that one. I don't remember. Photographic memory. The photographic. Oh, the author. The author. Yes. Oh my goodness. Do you guys have good snow plows and snow equipment? Like say in Indiana, Andrew, do they, because you guys do get a lot of snow, right? Like when we got such a little bit of snow. Remember when I was saying that there was slush and snow and it was doing that, and then all of a sudden it got cold and then it snowed a little bit, and I was really glad that it had a couple of days for it to dissipate a little bit before it snowed, because I thought otherwise that ice would have been left underneath. Cindy, the news says the cold air is coming from Canada. Keep the cold there, lol. You're getting it too? You're getting it too, Nancy? Wow. Didn't remember you at all. That's amazing. That's amazing, Andrew. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. Oh, I don't mean to laugh, but I was thinking of myself and laughing at myself, thinking, oh, Cindy, right? Somebody met you once, they would always remember you. My voice is a little harsh this week, but after the weekend of all the yapping and stuff that I'm doing, right? Yeah, my throat does crank out a little bit. At least where I live, the snowplows do a great job. In northern Indiana, there's a lot more snow, though I don't know how the snowplow situation is there. I just had to look. My phone just went off, and I thought, oh, maybe Nancy sent me a picture. And then Nancy says, yep, I was in the teens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today we were in the 20s. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm going to have a couple more of these tonight. I was celebrating my days off. Actually, I'm going to do that exactly. Yeah. I don't mind the cold. I was telling everybody at work today. I walked to the bus stop. For once, I was at the bus stop on time. I'm usually a fly by my seat of my pants when it comes to getting to work. I always leave in the last minute and then I'm running down the sidewalk to catch my bus. That's usually the norm for me. But today I got to the bus stop just at the right time, right? And everybody was in. There's a little bus shock. It holds maybe comfortably, maybe 3 people in there, but I probably you could squish 6 or 8 in there if you really had to, right? I wasn't going to go in there, but so I stood outside in my snow pants, and like I said, I came into my live today, and I had my snow pants on. I had my snow pants on and my crocheted bonnet, my Hatterape bonnet, and I had my hood, and I had a neck warmer, and I had my mitts, and I had my big warm socks and my big keen winter boots. Just love those boots. I was standing there and I was looking at the bus shock and everybody in there, they're all looking at their watches and they're all like this in the bus shock. And I'm standing there in my suit and I take my neck warmer just to make it over my cheeks just a little a little bit more. And I'm in my snowsuit. I was like, I'm in my own little sauna, right? It was so comfortable. Didn't even feel the cold, and the little bit I did, it just felt refreshing because I was so comfortable, like, right? I was dressed. I dress for winter, you guys. I'm always, no matter what, anything I wear has to be comfortable. I can't concentrate if you got me squished into a pair of pants that are too tight or a pair of shoes that are too tight, right? I want to be comfortable in whatever. And that doesn't mean casual. It just means I want everything to be comfortable, right? So even in winter, it takes me a long time. It takes me like 5 minutes to get all my gear off, right? I even have to take my boots off to get the snow pants off, and then I have to put my boots back on and right, put myself back together, right, before I start my day or end my day. It is a little bit extra work, but I was just kind of chuckling to myself, and then I went to work, and it became part of the conversation, right? It becomes part of the conversation. Tell people, right? I felt like laughing because I was like in my snowsuit, like that kid from the Christmas story, right? You can't even walk because you're just like the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? But I was so comfortable and I was so warm and I could have stood there all day. I could have done my 8-hour shift easily, right? It would have been hard to entertain me myself for those 8 hours because I like to be busy, right? I like to be doing different things and I like to be comfortable, right? And even though I'm all bundled up and it was my own little sauna, it was all nice and warm and comfy, right? It still was puffy, right? It was still not really movable, but it was definitely comfortable, right? I'm excited to see what this is going to do for people, right? And it's not the norm that the weather is like this, but nothing about the seasons have been normal this year. Remember when I went on my trip this year? I don't know if you guys watched the videos of me doing the trails, but one of my favorite things when I go on these trips in September is I love looking at the mushrooms. Like the mushrooms get so big, like literally the mushrooms get so big and they get so colorful and patchy. And I love taking beautiful photographs of my mushrooms. And I think I got one photo of a mushroom this year because the mushrooms were already rotting. They were already discolored and disappearing. And when I walked on the trails, right, I mentioned a couple of times that all I could smell was the rotting mushrooms, right? So it has been strange in the weather, but it wasn't like strange winter. We're not going into ice age or anything in the moment, right? Right? It's just been kind of a strange year altogether, right? Because and I noticed it way back in September when I went on my vacation and I saw, hey, where are my beautiful mushrooms? Oh, my mushrooms are all rotting already and disappearing on me, right? Nancy says, we had a little bit of snow. We had to borrow plows from Colorado. Seattle just doesn't have that stuff to deal with this slow. Right? Right. That's what I thought because I know when I lived in Vancouver growing up, I don't ever remember seeing snow plows. And in fact, if you owned a house, you were expected to shovel your own sidewalks, right? Your boulevard sidewalk and your sidewalk right? You didn't have here in Winnipeg, if it snows, they have little like, you know what side by sides are? Little quads. You know what quads are? They're like little drivable tractors with little plows in front of them. And they have to plow the sidewalks. They plow sidewalks. They just don't plow the roads. They plow the sidewalks. And I tell you, after our first snow, what day was that? Was that Wednesday? Wednesday when it snowed? And Wednesday, the trail of snow plows were crazy. And I usually walk home from work on Thursday nights. It's my first day at work, but because I don't have to come back to work till 3 o'clock the next day, so I can go home and walk home and just take my time and enjoy my evening. So I was going to walk home, and it's an 8 kilometer walk, right? But usually my first day back to work, I will walk home. But I couldn't walk home. I bundled to walk home too. So I was extra bundled than everybody else that I didn't need to be because it wasn't that cold yet. But I knew once I started walking home that it would be, but I didn't even attempt. I didn't even attempt to because it was the first day of the cold snap. Nobody was dressed for it. People were walking on the main road because the snow drifts on the sidewalk were so high, right? Were so high. You couldn't walk on the sidewalks. So people were walking on the road and already, right? The snow plows are out there and they're plowing. They're happy to be back to work because that's the guy's wages, right? They only work, right? 4 or 5 months out of the year. They get paid well, but they only work 4 or 5 months out of the year, and they gotta get as much money in as many hours in as they possibly can because number one, it's government work, so it applies to your pension, and secondly, on top of that, they've got to live sometimes for the rest of the year on that money if they don't have a second job, right? So they were all at work. There wasn't that much snow. They didn't need that many plows, but they had all been working. So they just said, right, we're getting some more of it this week. So let them go do their work. And they've been the snow did not stop. It's been really, really cold since I think Wednesday. Wednesday morning was when it first started getting cold. But like I said, I was glad that it didn't start getting cold till Wednesday because that mud puddles and all that ice that had melted from the freeze and the thaw had a chance to dissipate because those sidewalks and those roads would have been very dangerous. And I don't know about other states and other cities and other countries, but here in Manitoba, our auto pack, which is our car insurance, it's run by the government, right? It's a corporate company that's partnered with the government, right? So it's all regulated and everything. But our insurance is dependent on how much they have to pay out, right? Because it's hard to say. We get a lot of hail here. We get really cold and funky weather, very extreme weathers. And so there is a high accident rate, right? But we'll have to pay that. So we get increases if we have really bad winters where they had to pay out lots of money for insurances. Car insurance, you don't get money because you get hurt in a car accident, but you do get all your medical expenses paid for. In the day you used to be able to sue, and it became a bit of a scammy thing where people would like jump in front of cars and make false claims. So it works out much better. It's a much more honest system that they have right now, right? And the only people who would be complaining are the people who are just wanting the money anyway, right? And sometimes you do get in those accidents where, right, it impacts you your entire life, but right, they'll pick up the slack. They'll take responsibility for that in any kind of aspect as long as you need that care. But at the same token, in saying that, if they have a good year where because it's a corporate company, right, there will be profits to be had if they don't have to pay out as much as they usually do. And if that's the case, they do rebates. And depending on how much you pay in car insurance, you'll get a little chunk back, right? I don't have a problem with with our insurance companies how it's run here in Manitoba. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain because being a corporate company, and if they do have profitable years, right? Sometimes instead of making those cuts a little bit bigger or those rebates a little bit bigger for the insurance owners, what they'll do is, right, they'll expand the lunchroom and they'll buy more office furniture or, right, bigger vehicles that they need or bigger buildings, right? They'll try and spend some of that money to the benefit of the company, right? To the benefit of the company. And then whatever's left over, then they'll give out those rebates, right? If there isn't only enough if there isn't anything left after they've done all that, well, I would guess there's no rebates going on. But yeah, that's interesting, Nancy, that you have to borrow plows. But I'm from Vancouver. I don't ever remember seeing the plows. Now up north, yes, because like I said, we've lived all over British Columbia, Prince George, Fort St. John. I stayed with my aunt in Williams Lake, 150-mile house. My dad moved us to a farm in a place called Farmington, which was about 100 kilometers down the Alaska pipeline, or sorry, the Alaska highway. We also lived in Dawson Creek. I'm just looking at the northern places where I would have seen plows because, yeah, right, you need those plows, especially in northern BC, because there's so much moisture in the air that there's snow going on all the time, right? Huh. But see tonight how we talked about the weather, right? And look at the conversation, right? So, I take that. as a challenge. When people come into the store and, ooh, it's cold, or right, have you been outside at all today, or have you heard the news, or we got an alert? It's just an opening for the potential of a conversation or connection, right? A connection. And sometimes, right, like Andrew says, he doesn't want that to be intruded, right? He doesn't want to be pulled into a conversation, right? That maybe the person could say is, oh, right, I'm having a wonderful day in the cold weather. I hope your day's going good, right? And then there wouldn't be any more need than a nod of the head, or right, you're right, or yeah, I agree, it's a cold one, and then off you go. But again, sometimes in that tolerance, and then again, all of us have certain levels of tolerance, and not only certain levels of tolerance, right? What bugs me, right, might not bug you. And what bugs you might not bug me, right? And that's why I always judge people, right? How they treat me, right? I don't mean to say, if you're pulling an unkindness, right, in front of me, that's disrespectful to my values, right? What I allow into my surroundings. So I would have to step in. There would have to be some kind of lesson. I wouldn't be able to turn the other cheek. But for the most part, right, people's businesses are people's businesses. I don't bump into people's conversations unless, I'm invited to, right? Or even if I feel sometimes invited to, but I'm like Andrew, I'm not into doing it. No, right? Quick pleasantries and good wishes, and off I go, right? Colorado. Yeah. Colorado's another state that I would like to see, only because of the valleys and the gullies, and right, the hills that I would like to. And I think, was it Colorado? No, I think it was Washington and Montana, if I'm thinking correctly. I'm thinking about my grandfather. He used to, his family. Well, that's another conversation in any case. I've started to blubber off, and it's already 9 o'clock, you guys. So you know what? We're going to call it an end. Wow, did that live ever go fast? You guys are not going to be prepared next Friday. I'm going to try. Oh, here's the funny thing. I think Andrew knows, or maybe it was Owen. I can't remember. Pipe up if you remember. I don't remember. So forgive me for not remembering who popped into my live. I think it was Andrew who popped in. Oh, now I've lost track of what I was going. He popped into my live show. Oh, and I told him about what happened with my staff charges. I thought last payday we went and did the show and tell. And after my show and tell, I says, "Wow, I usually get more than $62. I get more for my $62 than what I got here, right?" And I says, "Oh, but I got some pretty nice things. I got my beautiful tables. I got this, but this was one of the things I don't think that you guys saw, because I got this. This is for my artwork. I'm going to be mounting this on my days off up over my art. It's a light. I got it at Salvation Army. That's where I got it, which is another thrift store. I got paid $5 for it. But I want to highlight my beautiful art, because I do believe my art is beautiful. Whether anybody thinks it's beautiful or not, but everybody has their taste, right? Right? Everybody has the things they love. Everybody has the things that they don't love. I was actually thinking about that on the way home. I don't know why I was thinking about it. I was thinking about the fish, right? That, like, I like to buy fish every once in a while, but I always buy like the English battered fish and chip, or the beer battered fish and chip. That's the kind of fish, the fish I like, right? But my mother used to eat sardines out of the can and oysters out of the can, and it used to just stink up the house. And she would smell. And she'd love them. She would just sit on the couch watching her soap operas, and she would be eating these sardines out of cans. It was just right. But then also just checking. Oh yeah, Nancy sent me something, and then but also what was bad is my dad loves smoked kippers. Do you guys know what kippers are? They're a red smoked fish. And my dad just, oh, let's take a look. Nancy sent me a photo. I don't know if any of you guys watched her box openings of the parcel that I sent her. Oh my goodness, what a cute outfit. This is one of the outfits that I sent Nancy for her dolls, right? Oh, it's so cute. It looks so good on her. It looks so good on her, too. Oh, my goodness. I'm glad you like the outfits, Nancy. I'm so glad that you liked the parcel, and I really enjoyed the videos and watching you open up your parcels. It was really. Oh, I'm glad you liked that. No, you don't have to thank me. It was absolutely my pleasure, Nancy. Absolutely, it was my pleasure. Okay, you guys, we're going to call it a night till next Sunday. But like I said, next Sunday, huge, huge show and tell, right? I'm not holding back. I think I'm going to spend $100 on stuff, right? Um, yeah, but you'll see it. We'll see it. You'll see it next Sunday, and hopefully you find it interesting, right? Everything that I like, I just that can come home with me. Oh, that can come home. Oh, and talk about patches. There was a note for that big hole in the crotch, so I went and I cut off all the patches off the outfit, right? Because I'm saving all the patches for my for my coveralls. Gonna get a sewing machine because I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it by hand. But what I was gonna say, last week after I finished my live show, I got up and I started tidying. I made some dinner and I was tidying up. And I went into my granny bag, the one with the wheels, and I opened it up and it was stuffed full with staff charges, great staff charges that you would have thought were absolutely amazing. So I just put it away and I did the laundry and whatever I had to do, but you didn't get to see any of it. And there was lots of really good stuff. Look at my bag of patches. Wow, that's one. Oh, Nancy, look at this patch. Look at this patch. This is a crazy patch. Look at that patch that I cut out. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that an amazing patch? That's probably a $30 patch. And I got that for $1 off a baby outfit. That was on a baby outfit. Yeah. You might say a big baby outfit, but I think it was like circular or something. It was like some kind of hoodie or something. And I just says, oh, that could come home with me 100%. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice patch. Maybe I'll make you some coveralls, Nancy. Oh, Nancy, wouldn't that be nice if that was right on the bib of a pair of coveralls for you? You'll have to message me and tell me your size so I can keep an eye out for a pair of coveralls for you. Would you be able to get into a pair of coveralls? Nancy, can I ask, could you get into a pair of coveralls? They would look awfully cute on you, especially if you had a couple of cute tops. Oh, you can't get into coveralls, eh? Yeah. Aw. Yeah, but nice patch. Whole big bag here. I've got at least 100 now. Oh, a catheter. Aw. Man, our Nancy, right? And she never complains, never grumbles. Well, yeah, she does. She does grumble. She does complain. And don't Don't tick her off and don't take away her rights because she'll come all aboard you 100%. Ah, I hope you didn't mind me asking. I wasn't asking for details or anything. I appreciate that you love us that much that you don't mind saying Nancy, you're a sweetheart. You got mad at the management last night. That's our Nancy. That's our Nancy. What for, Nancy? Before I go, tell us, what did you get mad at the management for? And again, you guys, pop in later and put your feet up and hang out with us. This is our crew. We've been with each other for years. Every once in a while, we pull in a new one. If you pop in, they'll envelop you 100%. Come in, say hi, become part of the crew. Come and hang out with us. It's really light, especially when we're talking such heavy subjects all through the week that we have Sundays to come in and it's just, right? It's just friends. It's really a nice experience. So everybody pop in. Nobody bites here. Okay, I called them on the phone with the issue we had at the building. The fire department came when the management wouldn't. Ah, every smoke detector in the building went off, every floor. 13 floors. Oh my goodness. So it was pretty loud, eh? It was pretty loud, Nancy. Oh my goodness. Right? The things that irritate us. 100%. Okay, you guys. That's it for tonight. I will be back next Sunday, or I'll be back also on Monday where we're going to pick a new word and we're going to hack away at it all week. If you want to pop in and hang out with me, right? It's always nice to see you guys when you come out, right? But when you hang out here with me on Chatters Lives, that's amazing, right? That's where the chat's at. Okay, you guys, have a great night and we'll see you show and tell. Bye bye.